Hey everyone, we have a nice crew here tonight. Beth and Andrea and I had such a great time at Grandview. We missed our Wyoming golds and aboves, but we're hoping that next year, oh my gosh, we could have a big old crew there, right? It was amazing to be poured into, spoiled again. And Grandview is absolutely gorgeous. We did not stay there. We stayed at my house, but we did hang out there for quite a while after on Friday night. And then yesterday, Andrea and I stayed a little bit longer and ate down by the water and stuff like that. So it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you have an opportunity to come to God's country and and see Grandview, I'm like, I think I've been there for events, but I don't know if I've been down by the water. It's, oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. So it was even fun for me, even though I live right here, to experience it because it was beautiful. And some of the larger teams went on pontoon rides. And so I'm like, oh gosh, next year that's going to be us because we're going to have a big old crew there, right? As we continue to grow. So it was really a blessing. We got some amazing training from Wendy Larson and Kristen Abart, and then also we heard from a Ruby, Senior Ruby, and Jewel and Diamond panel, or Senior Ruby, Jewel, I should say. The Emeralds and Sapphires came up when the Senior Rubies did, and then from the Diamonds as well. And so, gosh, just so many nuggets of wisdom. But we decided that tonight we were going to share kind of a framework that Kristen and Wendy shared about how to work with your team. And there's 3 levels: connection, working alongside, and developing leaders. And so we are each taking a topic, and we are going to share with you tonight what they shared with us. So I'm really excited about it. Beth is going to open up by talking about connection.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, it was just an awesome weekend getting to listen to all of the jewels in Team Wellness and above, and just being so close up and personal is just really amazing training. So, like she said, Kristen Abart, who many of you should know, is basically above Wendy, who's our diamond. She talked about 3 major ways that you need to work this business. And she really talked about how she doesn't like the term system, because we are hearing this term system in the Send, Share, Invite, and some of those other things, because we do want to make it simple for anybody new coming on. And that's a great idea. But it really, in my mind, when I was listening to Kristen, I related it to teaching a lot. And I know a lot of you on here are teachers or have been teachers. It's teaching is not a system. You can't just have basically a robot. Or I teach online classes, and a lot of people just think, oh, well, you can just have this system online class and everyone will just take it and learn well and all of that. But teachers are coaches. Teachers form relationships with their students, and that's a huge part of the success of many students, right? We have to connect with them and figure out what exactly is their issue going on. And it's the same thing with Plexus. So the first level of working this business is connections. And then Andrea is going to talk about production, and Catherine's going to talk about developing leaders. So it's more of a framework than a system. It does simplify it. It does help you to have some goal to, build on and learn in your business. But it's not a system, because you have to treat each person as an individual. Just like if you're a teacher, you have to treat each student as an individual and get a relationship going. So the first one is connection. And Kristen was saying how she talks to 90% of her people when she signs them up on the phone or in person. And I think that's huge. I have learned to try to do that more in the last 6 months or so too, of getting on the phone, even if it's not right away to sign up within the first week or so before or right when they get their products, because you want to explain to them as they're excited about getting started, you want to get them off to the right start, first of all. You want to make a connection, especially if you didn't get to know them too well before they started and got signed up. And you just want to, you don't have to push the business or anything, but you do want to let them know that they do have that available to them. And so Brooke Hemingway was a video that I watched that she talked about how she goes through their virtual back office right away in that meeting, just to show them what's available to them and how to use that. But then Kristen Abart really stressed that she starts first with their personal website, not the virtual office, but first the personal website as she's talking to them on the phone, and shows them what they have available to them as she's connecting with them. So by doing this, she is working with her people to show them what's available to them, show them the website. Then you can go into the back office briefly and talk also about how to get products started well. And by doing this on the phone or in person, you are showing them by what you do how to do it, right? So that's why it's so important, because she also said in these 3 steps, it's I do, we do, you do. So whatever you're doing, you're showing to your new person what to do with that. So making the connection and building relationship is super important. And then what you're doing as you get them started is also really important in that connection. So yeah, I think that's what I have on my notes for number 1. I don't know if I kind of moved into number 2 with that. I might have gotten a little, but anything else that I missed maybe on point 1, Catherine?
I think, the biggest thing is, I think you talked, like, one of the things she really drove home was the systems thing. And I think that's coming from, like, if you haven't noticed, like Brooke Hemingway and Emily Gibson, they have all these systems, right? And everybody's wanting to copy their systems and everything like that. And Wendy has said this, and I've heard Kristen say this, it's not their systems that is making them successful, it's their passion. And so we can have all the systems in the world, and if we're just doing it like a robot, like what Beth was talking about, nobody's going to be inspired. Nobody's going to believe you that you love the products unless they hear your voice and see your face that you really love the products, right? And so it's that passion about the opportunity, about the products that can do it. And then I think it's just really that connection is really learning how to listen, learning how to truly care about the people. Like, if you don't really care, you know what, whether somebody gets better or not, they're going to know that. They're going to see that. Like, you have to really learn how to connect and care about people. So I thought that was great, Beth, and what she talked about with, like, go to the website first. That was new for me, because I'm like, I'd usually go for the back office, but show them, hey, look at, you got your own website, and celebrate it. Like, Kristen, she's like, she's
you
so, and she,
their initials, or they get to see their initials on there, and it's exciting. Yeah.
And she said, then they take like ownership. Oh, that's my website. Oh, that's exciting. I have my own website with my name on. And you celebrate that fact. You get excited with them. They see your passion again, right? So I loved that tip. I really did. So no, that was great. Thank you, Beth. Okay, Andrea, work alongside.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the passion piece, because I had written down you can take someone's system, but you can't go much further without passion. So yes. Another piece before I dive into working with is I just love how all 3 of these levels or pieces of framework, they I mean, that's why Plexus it doesn't come across like we're salespeople, right? I feel like it just makes it more warm, more relationship building. Because for a lot of people, when they hear about Plexus, it's like they think of, okay, it's an MLM. You know, they're just trying to sell me something. But if you really practice these frameworks or these levels really well, you're not going to come across like you're selling something. And I think that's what's most important. Is to really remember that, and that connection piece is what's going to really help it feel like you're not selling them something. And I've even had people tell me, you know, gosh, Andrea, I'm thank you for not pressuring me, or thank you for not, you know, selling me on this, you know. And it's like you have to be authentic, you need to be warm, and you need that connection to be real. You know, don't just check it off like you're just asking questions to connect or listening to connect. Like, you really have to be real. So anyways, number 2 is working with. And this is really fun because this is where some of those, the big teaching comes in. So yes, you've connected, you build that relationship, they're starting to trust you, and now we want to work with them. And I think when I shared last week, I kind of talked about working with, but I almost made it sound like I was doing it for them. So it was really nice to hear them talk about the importance of working with, instead of like doing it for them, because how well they're not going to learn if you are continuing to do it for them. Okay. So I talked about a lot of messages that I type it up for them. And so this was kind of nice. I'm like, maybe we do it together, right? Maybe I have them do it with me. And so I think our team does this really well, especially with power hours. And so when we think about how do we work together with our newbies, or how do we work together with our team, well, we do power hours. And, you know, for some of our newbies, I think it's important that we work with them and tell them, okay, now for 5 minutes, we're going to friend, you know, 5 to 10 new people. Okay, now we're going to reach out to 5 brand new people we've never talked with. And so that working with them is so they're not feeling like they're doing it alone. A lot of newbies don't even know what the heck to do next. And so helping to do it along with them is just so much easier for them to, number one, learn it, and then be able to do the next step by themselves, which is the leadership piece. Let's see what else they wrote down. They mentioned it's important to ask your newbies how to best communicate with them. Okay, so if you're going to be working alongside them, do they like phone calls? You know, maybe it's you call them up, and like Beth said, you work along with them. Okay, pull up your website right now and kind of walk them through step by step so they can understand their website, understand the back office. Or maybe it's not phone, maybe they prefer text messages. Have you ever asked your newbies, is it okay if I text you? Or do you prefer Facebook Messenger over text message? Like, I just sometimes assume, because I like using Facebook Messenger, and I've had people that say, Andrea, I'm sorry, I don't ever check Messenger. Well, I should have asked them right away. Do you prefer text message? Or how about a phone call? You know, or what night of the week is best for us to connect each week? Or something like that. Just so you can understand, you know, their best mode of communication, so that you can work best with them in the mode that works best for them too. What are other ways we work with people? Doing events. And so bringing your newbies on board, helping them post in events, having them partake in events with you. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say about working with. Just all the things that you do, just doing it with them. Like, it's just so simple. You know, if you are somebody that likes to make a list every Sunday night for the people that you're going to reach out to that next week or that whole week, why don't you message some of your newbies and say, hey, tonight I'm going to spend 10 minutes. Do you want to do this together? Whether it's via Zoom with them or phone call, or even if you message, you know, send them a message, just do it together with them. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yes. I'm like, and I love that. And I do think, Andrea, what you've done is, you know, you started out with the you do, and especially with your team, as fast as it grew, you had to do some you do for a while. And now I think you've done a really great job of moving into the we do, you know. And I think the other night, Amy like ran her whole event and you had to do one video, which you were like, I only have to do one video. So So that's, that's that's how it should progress. And the other thing is just chats. And I have to be honest and authentic here. Like, I've struggled with chats. Like, sometimes, like, even like the Emerald Bound one right now is not excited. Okay. Like, I want some excitement. Like, sometimes I get on there and I say something, I ask a question, it's like crickets. Okay. Like, I'm trying to drum up some talk or chit chat and not getting stuff. And when you're a leader, you're going to know what it feels like. And if I know a few of you just started your own chat, which I was really excited to see. Jane challenged some of her people to start their own chats with their people. And thinking about how are you engaging your teams on your chat. And I learned some things from Kristen and Wendy that I'm going to be implementing, and I suggest copying it. But that they really talked about, like, that were connection questions, that you're not just asking business questions, but you're asking connection questions. And I've tried it a few times because I've seen Wendy do it, and I copy what she does, right? Because she's successful. Like, one day she asked our chat, hey, what are you guys all doing this weekend? And or something. So I tried it. I think one person answered me. Okay. So just like, a lot of you on here right now are leaders, right? And so I would love some, and I know we had some vacations and things like that. I would love some more interaction on the Emerald chat for that. And things are going to be shifting here with September coming up in regards to chat. We're going to see some shifts again, but they did say chats need a purpose. And right now I'm like, the Emerald Bound chat is kind of big right now. I think it's more, my purpose is mass communication for people to get the message. And I'm probably going to get some more, a smaller worker one going. But anyways, with chats though too, this was encouraging. They said, at least try it. Like, throw a question out there. You might fall flat on your face, but either you fail or you learn. Okay. So like, some of it is I'm learning on how to keep my chats exciting and engaging too. Okay. But here's what I loved. They talked about two things. Two was find the fire and bring people to them. Okay. Wendy's like, she's like, I'm the fire. That's what she said. Okay. We have to be our fire. We have to be the excitement on our team. We have to be the passion that our team members can bring their people to, that makes them excited about Plexus. One night I had a new person who said, I don't want to do the business right up front. By the time I got done talking to her, telling her about my side income I'm bringing in as a teacher, she's like, you know what? I've been looking for a side income. I'm like, oh, really? I can help you with that, right? If we're excited about it, if we believe in it, if we're communicating that, then we're that fire. Be that fire and have your team bring their people to you in three-way chats. Again, power of three-way chats is that excitement that you can create and bring them to you. The other thing I liked that Kristen talked about was upgrade your flirting game. She said she likes to entice people. So if somebody has not accepted your invite on the team page, then you just say, hey, I noticed that you haven't accepted my invite on the team page. There's this great little video that I think you're really going to love, and it really applies to you. So make sure, right? And so it's like, you're not sending it to them. You're not telling them what it's about. You're kind of teasing them and saying, you need to come here. You need to be here because this is where the fire is, right? That's where that excitement is. So I loved that. Okay. That's kind of, I think they kind of went off on that a little bit between, because I think somebody asked a question about chats and fire and stuff like that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about developing leaders. Number one, because we can do the working with, we can do the connecting, but we need to become great coaches. And one of the ways that we become great coaches is be good question askers. And this is something I'm continuing to try and learn and do a better job of. My husband, as an introvert, is a fabulous question asker because introverts would rather have the other person talk. So they ask good questions. So pay attention to how introverts ask questions. Okay. Or if you're not a good question asker, learn how to be. I'm working on learning how to be as a teacher, as a leader, as a friend. Like as a friend, I could talk the whole time as an extrovert, but as a friend, I need to ask questions and be a good question asker. And that's a good part about coaching. They said, don't always answer the questions that they're asking. Say, what do you think? What do you think you need to do? And be uncomfortable with the silence, they said. Be uncomfortable with the pause. So again, I think that's really good. Read books together. We just got done doing some John Maxwell, so that was awesome. We'll do more of that. But as leaders, and especially what they said is, as a gold, you can get to gold or senior gold by connecting. You can get to ruby and senior ruby by doing with, or the working alongside. But if you want to go to the jewel level, you need to learn how to develop leaders. And so a lot of, like I said, coaching, asking the right questions, a lot of empowerment, sending messages that you believe in your team. I don't know how many of you have probably gotten those messages from me so far, right? I know I've sent them to a lot of people on here on how I believe in you, because I do. And so notice the things that your team members are doing well and recognize them for it, publicly, privately, all of the above, whether it's a private message or it's a big post on Team Wellness and Positively Pink. You need to recognize their gifts, and you need to empower them that you believe in them. Because you do. I believe in everybody here. I've seen your different skills and your gifts, and I believe in you. And so, but you need to do the same thing with your little team, right? If you have a little team, if you have a big team, you have to do the same thing. Help them self-reveal. They said if we can tell them what they need to do, but it's going to stick a lot more if they realize what they need to do. And sometimes Wendy's done that to me. It drives me nuts because I'll ask her a question. She won't answer it. And I'm like, no, just tell me, what would Wendy do? Like, what would Jesus do? You know, what would Wendy do? And she won't answer it. But that's great coaching, right? She helped me self-reveal. Help them be the hero of their own story, they said. I loved that too. In the aspect that each of you are the CEO of your business, and help your team, empower your team to be that hero of their story too, of their team. The final thing is casting vision. And what they did with us is they actually had us all write down what we made last month and put it on a piece of paper. And I don't know if you've seen, I think Libby put a post up about it, about how much everybody in that room made. I can't remember what the amount is. If somebody can look that up on Libby Geary's post right now, if somebody could check that out and tell me. Thanks, Jane.
It was 2.5 million.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just read it a little bit before.
Yes. So 2.5 million a year in that room, right? Wasn't it per year? Yeah. And what they figured was about, was it 20,000 per table in that room? Like we were in little groups of 6 to 8 people at a table, I would say, an average of 20,000 per table in a month. Or not, I mean, not an average, but I just mean like collectively per table, we brought in about 20,000. So this opportunity is amazing. And all you have to do is not quit and keep sharing and keep passionately changing lives. And then show your team that same thing. Show them the opportunity. Help them dream. Help, like, cast a vision with them. Ask them, like, what could you do with $500 more a month? What would you do with that? What would you do with $1,000 more a month? Like, help them cast that vision. You know, maybe they need to pay off debt. Maybe they want to give freely. Maybe they have a dream home they want to buy. Maybe they want to retire their spouse from a horrible job or a dangerous job. What is their dream? Help them see their why, and then empower them to believe in themselves to be able to do this. And then the last thing I would say is just stay in front of them. Don't count on them to reach out to you. You reach out to them. Because every single one of us on our journey have felt insecure in this journey from time to time. Every single one of us. I fight it all the time. We don't see our own giftings. Somebody else sometimes has to tell us what it is. Or just help us believe in ourselves, because we can focus on the negative versus the positive. And so you need to be that voice telling somebody that they can do this and what you see in them, because each of you have gifts and each of your team members have gifts. And so breathe life into them. So that's, and basically they encourage you, find out what's important to them and then help them keep their why in front of them at all times. If they're feeling like giving up, or if they're having they got a lot of no's that day or crickets, help them keep their why in front of them. So that's part of developing leaders and empowering them and raising them up. So, and just be a good friend, you know? So I just, again, anytime we go to these things, I'm in awe of this opportunity. I know that both Beth and Andrea and I were at times near tears at certain points. And I want this for each of you. And I know we all want this for each of you. And I can't imagine, like I've said before, I've never really 100% seen myself as diamond, but I know I'll get to diamond because I want my team to get to emerald, right? Don't you feel that way about your own team, right? I know I'm going to keep going because I want them to keep going because I know their dreams and I'm going to help them get them. And I love that. I love that about this. It's not just about health. It's not just about feeling better. It's about creating that life that you always dreamed about and believing that you can do it. And you self-developing and empowering and everything like that to make it happen for you and your team. How awesome is that going to be? Like, there's nothing better. That's my favorite. I still cry when somebody sends me a message about how it's changing their life financially. So, and health, of course, too. That one still makes me cry. Letha's testimony makes me cry. So, right. Okay. Do you have any questions, comments, thoughts? Jane.
I do. So she talked about showing them their website first.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I've never done that because I don't encourage that they just send it out to people to use. I tend to want to be there with them when they order or do all that. So did she speak any more about that? I was just curious.
Just it's a planting a seed about the business, and it's getting them excited that they have their own website, that's a celebration. Like, that's exciting. Look at this. You have your own website. It has your name on it and everything like that. So she wasn't talking about showing prospects that. She was talking about after they sign up, the first place you bring them is, look at here, this is your website. And, you know, if you send some of your friends and it's got your name on top and, you know, this is where your friends could order from you and, you know, that type of thing. And then I can't remember, Andrea or Beth, do you remember if she said anything else besides that?
She didn't go into a ton of details, just that it was a great way to kind of just plant that seed that if they do have somebody that asks them about their pink drink that they're drinking, that oh, I've got a website. They might not know what to do, but then that's where you come in. But at least they know they have a website so that people can order from them if they choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good point, Jane. Yeah, she didn't go into detail though.
I think it was just a thing to celebrate, something fun. Like, who has a website? Like, how many of us had a website before Plexus with their name at the top? So Kristen's I can see some blue coming out of her because she loves to, she's like, and then you get like, oh, look at this, you have your own website, look at your names at the top. And, so I can see some blue coming out where somebody just thinks things are fun. Like, it's all fun, so. Other questions? Or anything else, Beth or Andrea, that you want to add to that you thought of?
I think what they shared right away, the 4, there may be more than 4, but they talked about kind of the 4 main whys for people. And so I think sometimes we forget that our why might be different than somebody else's why. So for me, right away when I joined Plexus, it was all about my health, but for someone else, it might be more business, right? And so they talked about one way is health and wellness and your vitality. Number 2 was resources and financial. So if they're struggling financially, this could be an avenue, a blessing for them in that way. 3 was personal growth. And 4 was that community and that connection, that longing to just have wonderful women or a group or a tribe to be working with. And so trying, that's where I think during that connection piece is where you figure out where they are. And eventually, and you all can probably attest to this, is you eventually have all 4, right? Like, I started out as just health, right? But now it's like, yes, the financial piece is a huge blessing, and that's another why for me now, in the personal growth, in the connection and community. But typically, we all kind of start out with 1, maybe 2, but helping to kind of draw that out or figure that out and not assume right away, when you're doing that connection piece of the framework.
Yeah. And what the whole title about all of that was she talked about feeling successful where you are. She took that quote from, she's under Eva, she's a Canadian Diamond, where she was saying, she said, you don't feel successful when you get to Emerald. You get to Emerald because you felt successful, in the aspect that a rank is not going to make you feel successful. Points should not make you feel successful. Feel successful right where you are right now. And those were the 4 points. And what she had us do was brainstorm each of those 4. In fact, I'm going to use that this week in our Emerald chat, and I'm going to ask a few of you each of those. We're going to kind of focus on each of those each day. So watch my question each day. I'm going to ask a question about how has Plexus made you feel more successful in your health? Tell me, what could you all write down right now that Plexus has made you feel more successful in your health? And see, then you're successful in your business right now, aren't you? Right? And then I'm going to ask you, how has Plexus made you feel successful in regards to finances? Or how has Plexus helped you feel successful in terms of personal growth, community, and connection? Because she said, if you're constantly taking your success, hanging your hat on your success, on your rank or on your points, it's only going to last so long. You hit that rank and the next day, do you be like, hey, I'm successful now? Not necessarily. I feel successful where I'm at right now because I'm changing lives, because I'm bringing an extra income into my household, because I'm feeling amazing with my health, because I'm helping other people feel amazing, because I've made new friends, because I have grown as a person. And so all of those categories. So I am going to ask some questions on the Emerald Bound. And since you'll know what it's about, I would love some responses this week. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Andrea, for bringing that up, because I do think those 4 categories that talk was so good. So good. She said it's all about perspective. Sometimes we get impatient with the journey and dissatisfied with where we're at, rather than seeing us as successful right where we're at right now because of what we've accomplished. Yeah, it was good. So good. Any other comments, questions? This is the pause.
I'll just say that I really feel very much inspired by what you guys have shared, and it's kind of given me that renewed push. What you were saying, Catherine, with like when you hit that rank, you are kind of hitting a goal, but your goals then keep moving, and so you kind of have to look, okay, I've hit the goal, now I have a bigger goal, but you celebrate the achievement, not putting all your cards on one thing.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. That's perfect. That's a perfect closing. It tells me I have less than 1 minute, but it is. And that's so true. I love it. And y'all are successful. You all are doing beautifully. I'm excited for a productive fall, and I'm excited to work with each one of you. So have a great night. Thanks for joining us. I will put the recording up again under that same post.